Hey, Nom.
Hi, Jeremy.
How are you?
A little under the weather. How about you?
Not you. Definitely not you.
You're not me. Is that why?
Yeah. So for the listeners, we're doing, like an episode 0. So I think you wanted to kind of give an introduction of what this podcast is all about.
Why?
So I'm doing it because you want that.
Yes. Because I wanted to say hi to the audience. Hello, my name is Nam Tran from OKC, single. You can call me at 405. Wait, no. No.
No, make sure you... No, it starts out 555. Finish the rest.
555 8675309.
Who was that by?
Jenny.
There you go. There you go.
No, but I do want to get a chance to kind of talk about why we're doing a movie podcast. It's something that you and I have as a passion project, I want to say.
For many years, Nom.
For many years.
I think, actually, has it been about a year? Maybe 2 in the making?
Yeah, I
think
it
was in talk for 1 year and in the making in the next year.
Yeah, it's so funny because we had so many ideas, and unfortunately with what I do for a career and what you do, we hadn't been able to kind of get a chance to get with each other and do an actual movie podcast, even though we may or may not have recorded like 20 episodes.
It almost feels like that we have to both quit our jobs to pursue our ultimate passion podcast that we dream of, but that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen because you inspired me. Let's do this. Hands in.
I was almost there. And then I was like, no, I need money.
Who needs that?
The studio won't exist.
Who's that? So, hey, man, the genesis of our idea, well, we're just two regular people doing this for the fun of doing this because we just enjoy having conversations and then doing a bunch of what if and questioning, right? I think, just the beauty of just having candid conversations and not necessarily like super on reviews that you'll see from like critics and everything. Just talking about it with two people that enjoy movies. But I think the genesis of where we came with this idea came from you. Tell me about it. Like, what got you thinking though on the reason why we should do this particular podcast?
We watch too many movies together.
Oh yeah,
and I feel like that we talk about a bunch of stuff, and I feel like that we miss golden moments that should be recorded. And that's the truth. Like,
yeah,
we'll sit in theaters and whisper and say funny things to each other. Almost every time after a movie, we'll go eat and put our thoughts in there. We'll think of some funny moments, stuff that we would like to make it better, stuff that was, terrible to us. We do it all, but it's like, why are we not doing it yet?
No, and I agree because I think a lot of the time we will look at each other and be like, we always wanted to be in a TV show or a movie. Doesn't really matter what we do.
Those two guys. That's what we've always been. Those two guys.
We wanted to be those two guys that just say random things in a movie. Mm-hmm. Or we can be the two guys that just got shot.
Right. Right.
Two guys that just got shot. But I think a part of it was also the idea that you, and one of the ideas that you came up with was the idea of movies that we watched in the past that you couldn't you really liked as a kid.
Yes.
But for some reason or another, you're not quite sure how you feel as an adult, but you hadn't seen it since then.
Memory's a loss from, I think, my teens going up to an adult. Like, I think it's awesome that I forgot them because then it gives me a reason to rewatch them and have those memories slowly come back.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to have kind of a rewatchable moment of it all, is to dig in and just to be like, oh my God, why did I love Howard the Duck? I don't understand.
You do like Howard the Duck still, right?
I actually, I hadn't seen that movie. It might be one of those movies that pop up. I hadn't seen one of those movies in like about 10, 15 years, I imagine.
Okay. So, the idea was we would just pick movies from, from like different eras, and then we would just watch that film. Some we'll watch together, and some we'll watch individually because of our travels and whatnot, and then come back together. Yeah,
and so basically what we wanted to do is to go through each, rotate choices between you and I, go through to kind of like the decades of just film. The way we wanted to break it down category-wise was anything before the 80s, any movie within the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s and above. We didn't want to go with anything that was brand new. So something that came out like literally in 2019, we won't actually do anything about, or we won't talk about those movies unless we decide to choose them and say we're in 2020. Then we can go back to 2019.
Exactly.
And go back.
Exactly.
So everything that we want to do is like pseudo president, but a lot of the stuff we want to hit on was kind of movies that we enjoyed watching, or we may not have heard of. Somebody else, one of our friends, may enjoy watch it, but we wanted to be able to just basically go through the whole entire process of like checking out the trailer, see how our first initial reactions were on the trailer, because I remember there were a lot of movies back when we were kids that we got really hyped about. One that I'm going to mention to you just because I just know how hyped you were about this particular movie, which was
goody, I can't wait.
which was Ultraviolet, right?
Oh, I talked about that with a friend yesterday. Go on.
Yeah, and then when you actually watched the movie, you were like,
yeah, I actually volunteered to reimburse everybody's money. Great time. Great time.
It should be like what was it? The Family Guy movie, or the Family Guy.
Yeah.
You should just go find the director and just slap him.
Fun fact, and I'll make this quick. I picked that over Max Payne. Ultraviolet. Max Payne is not a good movie. I'll pick Ultraviolet. It was bad, but it was entertaining. Moving on.
Really?
I just realized that.
I think I'd pick Max Payne over it.
You should watch Max Payne again.
I watched it. Oh, yeah. That's a good point, because I hadn't seen Max Payne
Watch it
until
again.
it first came out.
Watch it again.
It's a horrible,
boy.
But as you can hear, we just want to go through and definitely watch these movies again and just have a little fun comments.
So we have a million movies in our libraries that we want to go through, and some of these movies are not in our choices yet. But is there some that are on your list that they might not be coming up anytime soon, but there's stuff like these are some I do want to go back and watch?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, for as silly as it sounds, I do want to go back through and watch Howard the Duck, because I hadn't seen Howard the Duck in like forever, and it was a horrible movie from what I hear. I want to go watch a lot of the 80s movies that I grew up on that I can't really remember all that much, like Big. I love Big. Splash. Why would you? or True Lies. Love Arnold Schwarzenegger. Even some movies that may not be extremely old. Like I hadn't seen Get Out. I do want to get a chance to watch that.
Yeah.
I heard nothing but good things about that particular movie, and just some movies that I think you'll choose that'll get me out of the realm of things that I hadn't seen before. What about you, man? What about some movies?
I want to visit Clueless again, Stafford Wives, and definitely the old movies from 40s and back, because that is the area that you haven't been familiar so much of. So like Lawrence of Arabia, the Maltese Falcon, my favorite Western movie, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I really want to hit more of the classics for these ones, because like the 90s I kind of know pretty well, and the 80s I know pretty well, but 40s I kind of want to like know those and see realm, right? And just see what influence these movies and see if they all connect somehow. That's it.
Exactly. So outside of the movies we were just talking about, man, what are some of the things that you look for into movies that were enjoyable to you, that you sit there and look for whenever you watch a movie?
One, the music. I'm pretty sure you and I know that, like, you know me very well, that like if I like a soundtrack, I'll let you know I like the soundtrack, or I'm feeling something.
Yeah.
The music at the right moment. I look at who's starring in it and see if they fulfill the role that I think fits them very well. And then just the the entertainment in general. Like, am I entertained? I can easily be entertained. I really can be. I realize that now. But then I'll look at the overall movie, like, that movie was terrible, but it was entertaining.
Yeah. No, I
you know what I mean? So what about you?
I same thing. First it just depends on the movie, right? That's as easy cop out as you can say. But if it's a movie that you sit there and think to yourself, it's not going to be Oscar nominated worthy, blah blah blah,
right,
etc. etc. Then yeah, is it quote unquote entertaining? Does it entertain me? Does it make me laugh? Or is it so bad that it is somewhat entertaining, or you can make it entertaining in however you present it?
Knowing you, based off of just hanging out with you watching movies, I know that you like to look at, if I was in that situation, what I would do.
Yeah.
And does that movie fulfill that situation? Not so much, you're not trying to super be picky, but you're trying to think about, like, I understand that realm of the world, but it has to still make sense to me.
Yeah, and that's where I was going to go with that too. There's the entertainment factor of it as well, but a lot of the things I like to look at too is just being able to for the people to make the decisions and the choices that they make inside a movie itself. It has to make sense. You know, like for that character at that time, it doesn't make sense, or is it just one of those things where it was convenient writing that, you know, right. Oh yeah, we're going to conveniently write this motorcycle just randomly pop up so they could just take it and go.
Right.
You know, some sort of continuity. But one of the other things I really like is just being different. I like it whenever movies take a chance at being just different than everybody else, and then take a shot at being kind of unique. I know at one point or another, I'll give an example, be like Animal World. Won't say much about it here, but it's one of those movies that you think something when you see a trailer, and then later when you watch the movie, it's different. Completely takes a different chance at it. It may not be the greatest, but it definitely gained my respect as far as what they did with the movie, because it was not at all what the trailer was about.
Now, if I had to pick a genre I'm most picky about, it would be sci-fi. I'm very picky with my sci-fi, and when it comes to sci-fi, I really pick and choose what that universe is trying to present itself, and that goes from special effects and everything. So if we ever do sci-fi, that will be probably stuff I'll be going a little bit more detail about and stuff like that.
I can definitely agree with you. I think I'll be really picky when it comes to like just pretty much any movie, right? I'm pretty critical as it comes to pretty much any movie, but it has to. If it's a movie that takes itself serious, I think that's when you'll see me pick on it a little bit more, or a movie that people just love, like Transformers 2.
Thank you.
Where people just like, oh, it's such a good movie, and you're just it is not a good movie. Don't you? You could say it was entertaining, but it was not a good movie.
That was his highest peak.
But probably lost a handful of people here already. Sorry, you guys think Transformers 2 was
We'll get him on the next episode. But what about? Okay, so now I think that's enough for listeners to know. But like, what about the title? Like. When people are looking at this title, I'm pretty sure they're kind of chuckling, like, or WTF or anything like that. This was a title that, like, no lie, it was just kind of falling right in our laps. We were just naming off movies, and then that was the one right there. It was just made us laugh.
Yeah. So when Jeremy meets Nom, it just suits us, just because it was just one of those titles that we're just. I don't know. We came up with so many, and it was simple enough that it suited us, and yet we can always add things to it. It's like finally makes a movie podcast, or finally showed up, or
right,
finally walked off a cliff, or
because this is something that we finally wanted to do, and I think that title fits it all. But do you mind if I say some titles that were in the making of it? I had one called, I had ideas from one. Back to the Future got used too many times, so that did not work out for that.
I mean, Back to the Futures, right? Like, let's think about that. Like, that is a super cool title. In fact, we were so original in that title that we wrote, like, 10 different episodes for doing that title.
Yep.
We already did this 10 times with that title, and unfortunately, The Simpsons did it, so we couldn't do it anymore.
Exactly. The Simpsons did it, and Family Guy decided to get onto it, and South Park too, and it's just like, oh man.
They all did it, and it's just like, you would think when you Google something like that, it would just show up. It doesn't just show up.
Right. So
you have to do research. Who does such a thing?
I know. And it was because of you. You ruined it for me. Guy was hyping, and he's like, Jeremy, I'm so sorry. We got to change it.
Yeah.
I found stuff. A lot of stuff.
We had 10 times the practice.
But titles I had was, and for the listeners, if you decide a movie podcast, I guess this is free range because we're just giving it away, right? Yeah. So sell. Okay, so podcast Cinema Rewind I had, feature set piece, film rehab. I'm going to call this one camera stock and rolling films. That's what I'm going to call it now. Memories on Film Street. Which I was thinking of Miracle on 13th Street, which Nom's answer is better on Nightmare on Elm Street. That's a better example.
I was totally like, he was thinking Nightmare on Elm Street, and you were like, no, I thought it was Miracle on 13th Street. I was like, what?
Yeah. So that was bad over. Back in a Flick. Have you seen it? Roll That Back. Film Cycle. But like the one that I liked was when we went to go eat, and I called it. is say, hey, we're watching a movie here.
Yeah,
Podcast. So
we're watching a movie here. There's one that we've been keeping on for 2 years. I'm not going to say.
No, let's keep that one.
We're just going to keep that one a secret.
That's too good.
Yeah.
That's too good. Yeah,
that's one of the ones that we want to hold on to. If
but
we
you
decide
had
to
another
do like a
one
YouTube
that
pass.
was in the maybe pile. Do you remember what it was?
I had a few. There was one. All right, so unreliable narrator. Like, I love the idea of doing the unreliable narrator.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, you didn't really buy into it, which is fine. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, an unreliable narrator is somebody who narrates towards their point of view. So it's kind of like telling you guys our reviews based on our point of view about a bunch of just like, Oklahoma boys that just decided to just jump on the mics and do what everybody else does as a podcast. And I was just like, that's really cool. And yet when I looked it up, there was already people who did it. I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, research sucks.
Mm-hmm.
But there was that. There was Rewind Cinema,
Mm-hmm.
which unfortunately that one's already taken.
Yep.
There is like Take Two, but that was already taken. It was just like I just can't continue going. There's like, God, I am so unoriginal.
Yeah, that's the toughest part. Like, if you decide to come with a name of the title, if it sounds too good, pretty sure it's taken.
Yeah. We even thought about Taken.
That's right. We did.
In fact, we wanted to go so corny. We wanted to be like Nom and Jeremy, or Jeremy and Nom present a movie podcast.
It could have been called Jeremy and Nom Been Taken.
Yeah, Jeremy and Nom been
That
taken.
would have been good.
But yeah, I mean, not only will you guys be able to get a chance of us just shoot the breeze about how we think about the movie, what we initially thought, and how we thought about the movie, but we'll ask each other some fun questions too along the way, just to those random questions that you just sit there and you ask things like, do you think Tom Cruise would be good at this movie?
Yeah, leave it at that. I want the surprise factor for our audience, for our listeners. There's so many cool ideas that you came upon. I want to save them
Oh yeah.
in a jar.
Do you think Tom Cruise can make a better podcast? You probably do. I hate
Yes.
you all. Anyways, with that being said, I thank you guys for listening, and I don't have anything else. What you?
Just always remember that this show is part of the In-Game Boss Program Network, so make sure that you follow and subscribe to us on Facebook and Twitter, so you're always up to date and you will always see these episodes popping up. And trust me, we're hilarious, so definitely keep an eye on us. We'll have a date for you soon of when the shows will be premiering, so enjoy what you hear here, and we can't wait for you to come listen to us.
We're hilarious. Did you say you are hilarious?
Well, I'm pretty sure when I met you, I think I told you I was hilarious.
When Jeremy met Nom. Coming soon to an Endgame program near you.
Okay, cut. And I need my money. I done what you said. I want the money. I play along with this. Oh, we're still recording. Hang on.